Thank you for joining me on this glorious and amazing day as well. Welcome to so many new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining us in self-help and making the world for a better place. Why am I anxious? Is the question, and the answer, we had two answers. One of them is when we are aware of our emotions, we have less anxiety. And the second answer that we gave was when we are aware of our body, we have way less anxiety or no anxiety at all, unless if someone went through trauma, and that's a separate series for itself, or someone that was systematically disconnected, which we will address that as well, but not right now. So let me just elaborate a little bit what we spoke about last week about one feeling the sensation of their skin, one being aware of how they feel. I do a lot of this work on video chat, on phone chat, when I help people. And there's various tools I use, but this is one of them. One of the tools where the individual, I show them how the right hand touches their left hand and how to engage in the feeling, so on and so forth. Usually within 5 to 25 minutes that I do this exercise, everyone is very different. Most people are extremely confused because this is weird stuff. What, you're supposed to feel your hand? Like, what does that mean? Yeah, but once they get accustomed to it, it takes a while. And within 5 to 25 minutes, there is a reduction of stress. How do I know there's a reduction of stress? Before the exercise, I ask my client on the phone or video chat, and I ask them how high is their stress from a 1 to 10. What's the first feeling they have? What is that stress? And it can be anywhere. Everyone has different numbers. Some feel stressed at 5, some at 9. Some break it up. They say 4.5, whatever the feeling comes out. And I leave it at the number that just came to them, the number that they felt. And after the 5 or 10 minutes of exercise, or maybe sometimes even a half an hour, I ask them, and I could go way longer. I could do a full session, but I especially do not want to do a full session. I try to keep it to anywhere between 10 to 25 minutes. Very calmly, I ask them, what number are you up to now? And usually there is anywhere between 5 to 30 or even more percentage of decrease within stress. No meds, no meditation, no big stuff. A very simple exercise of the right hand touching the left hand. And right now I should actually acknowledge Dr. Peter Levine, that taught me all this stuff from his wonderful books about trauma. What a wonderful doctor that researched trauma for over 50 years. And he's just incredible. You'll be hearing more about him in the other series that we'll be talking about trauma, which I love to share, and I've dealt sadly with too many people in trauma. Let me just conclude with a fascinating, yet I must admit, an unusual story, but fascinating story that I'm still in shock because this happened so recently, just a couple of months ago. So I'm sitting on a video chat with someone overseas, and we're doing this exercise, and he is touching his hand in a certain way. I have a whole method which I won't explain now in the video. This is not from Dr. Levine. This is something that I myself discovered, some really sort of miraculous part of your hand that you touch. It's between the fingers. Can't give everything away. And it really does miracles. It's a whole method, and it really, as I said, it's just outstanding. Anyways, so I'm sitting, and I don't have it written in front of me, but I wrote it down because I write down my sessions as I'm having them because I want to write down the details. So the first detail I can't remember. I asked this fellow of how high the anxiety was. Let's say it was about an 8. It was high. It was definitely higher than 5. But it could be anywhere between 6 and 8, I believe. And I'm watching him do the exercise, And you could see how he's totally immersed into his very new exercise of massaging his left hand in a certain way 3 times. And I'm waiting for him to conclude, and he's just engrossed and he's into it. And suddenly, something that never happened in my life, this guy just burst out laughing. He just started laughing. I don't judge. I tried to understand. So I thought he might have reminded himself of some joke, of some event, or maybe those horns coming out of my head. I don't know what happened. And I'm looking at the video, and I'm not dreaming. This guy's laughing, but we're talking about laughing. And I look at him, wait till he's done with the laughing. And very respectfully, I said, could you share what went on? And he's like, his eyes were like looking up to the ceiling, and he's like, wow. And I'm going, wow, like, what's going on? And he says, I have to be honest. The anxiety went to 0. He like freaked out. Like there was so much intensity in him and feeling horrible. And this exercise literally took him from 80 down to 0. And I thought he's kidding around. He'll tell me the truth, but I'm waiting for him to continue. And he ain't continuing. He says, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. Now, got to be honest with you. Not giving you any false hope. My average working with people over the phone and video is anywhere between 5 to 30. That's the average. I could have sometimes 60. Lower than 5, I never went. I can't remember ever going lower than 5. But 5 is the lowest. And it just works miracles. Thanks for joining. And remember today 2 things. That you deserve tranquility. And yes, you are way greater than you think you are. Thanks for joining.